So, I just recorded a reaction to Young Thug's new album, Business is Business. I was excited for it, and I was happy, but midway through the recording, we're almost done with the album. We had just got to Parade on Cleveland, and the recording stopped, and I noticed, and I was like, okay, I'll just start recording again. The old recording has still yet to appear. When I know it was recording, I think there might have been a problem with running out of storage, and the video wasn't able to make it. Or, after I make this video, the recording will come out, and obviously, I'll be a little mad, but it's okay. I actually have sadly ran out of time to record the rest of the reaction if it does come out, like out of the iCloud space that it's hiding in somewhere, if it even saved. However, I'm still going to talk about what I think about Business is Business. Keep in mind, the version that I listened to was the Metro Boomin version, which has 2 new songs, plus a realignment of the track list. Now, just to say this, going off of like how the sales ended up happening, which is the first version they released, it was expected to sell over 100K and outsell Morgan Wallen. However, now those sales have dropped to roughly 87K, which is a little upsetting that he won't be able to go number 1. However, I do think if they would have released this new version of Metro Boomin plus these 2 songs, a big Juice WRLD song, and For the Sake of My Kids is a good new inclusion to close out your album with. If they would have went with this track list, it would have sold better in my opinion, because this version, after taking all the songs and listening to them in this order, and then looking at how the order would have went on the last album, I do find this version to be superior. I think has a lot better of an intro. A lot of the songs flow together a lot more properly. It would have been a better version of the album to hear, and it's a little upsetting because I do think the album would have been more successful and more people would have liked it a lot better if they would have stuck with this traditional, with this version of the track list. Now, like I said, this album has been very controversial so far, not because of like topics or anything, but because of this side of people really like it and think it's one of his best projects in the last few years. However, this side thinks that it is one of his weaker ones. Not necessarily bad, but it's just a weaker Young Thug album. I'm one of the few people that have realized that I'm kind of in the middle. I'm kind of like, it's good, it's not bad, but it's certainly not one of his best ones, but it's certainly not one of his weaker ones. It's right in the middle. It's in the middle of good and bad. There are really good highlights on this album, but there's also some downer points. Let's take a little look. Let's take a little look. Or not even certain necessarily songs that are weaker songs. It's just parts of those songs don't have to be in there. Jonesboro is a pretty good opener with some nice vocals and a very good Metro Boomin beat. I really like the fact that like some lyrical content, and also to talk about some of the Gunna there's a couple Gunna bars that you could point at Gunna. However, like he said on Twitter, who knows how he's tweeting, he probably has a burner phone in jail somehow, that song in specific was like 6 years old. Well, he didn't say Jonesboro is 6 years old. He said, by the way, that song is 6 years old, but I think everyone knows that he's talking about Jonesboro, which is an interesting thing for him to say, because it's almost like him telling people like, hey, you don't need to look at that bar, I'm not talking about anything. Because, honestly, I don't even think necessarily Young Thug knows the entirety of what happened with the whole Gunna situation, because really, no one does. Because there's so many, different point of views and different things that have happened. Until Young Thug gets out, and probably till the end of the case, we probably won't know how exactly anything went down. So we probably don't need to point fingers, and we probably don't need to listen to something and take it out of context, because, I mean, honestly, that's a very basic rap bar. So if he could have went a week into the vault before he got arrested, and you probably would have found, at least 10 songs with a bar like that. It's a very basic rap bar. You don't need to think about it too hard. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Mad Dog, I think, is too long. It's not a bad song, but I think almost being 4 minutes was a little extreme. I do like some of his vocals on there, and I do like the production again. And then that song goes straight to Uncle M, which, by the way, calling yourself Uncle Murder is not going to help with the RICO case. But I think that this song was supposed to be like the first like big bumpity hit type song. Again, good production. I like the beginning with like the whistle like kicking into the drop. I think that sounds good. I think Young Thug could have had a little bit more energy, but I still really liked it. Then Want Me Dead is a big highlight with a big 21 Savage feature. I really like how the beat quiets down and Young Thug like kind of sings. It's some high notes in the middle of that. He had a good verse too. And then that song leads into Cars Bring Me Out, where Future is a big highlight. His verse and his like little second verse that he has are pretty good. I think the hook could have been worked on, like flowed with the beat a little more. But besides that, overall, I think it's a good song. It's not necessarily too crazy, but it's a good song. Oh You Went is a pretty big banger. Drake has a really good verse. Young Thug has a really good hook and also a pretty good verse. Very good song right there. Money, which is a leaked Juice WRLD song called World Go Round. I've heard some people call it Blue Stacks. I knew it as World Go Round, but I know people called it Blue Stacks. It's called Money on here. It has a very good sample, very good beat. Juice WRLD has a great verse. Young Thug does pretty good. They added a Nicki Minaj verse to this, and she slid. I think she did really good. On to the next song, which is a very apparent... This is the first song that I didn't find necessarily good. Young Thug did okay, but BS, Slime, and Lil Got It did not have good verses. This is why I think Young Thug really needs to quit putting his his children onto his songs because it's not working out as good. Then it goes to With the Racks, which has a Yak Gotti feature, but he's on the song for like 5 seconds at the end. Which, I mean, I'm glad for because I don't like Yak Gotti, so... But Travis Scott had a little great verse, 21 Savage did good, Young Thug had a good hook and verse. Overall, a pretty good song. Honestly though, could have been a little bit better. I think Travis Scott, some of his like vocal inflections were a little strange hitting on that beat, but it's cool. I liked it. Parade on Cleveland is a pretty good song. I do think this is a good intro song for like the original version, but I do like it better where it's at right now. It has a phone call of Young Thug from jail talking to Drake, so that kind of makes me think that this was like a newer song that they put that phone call into. But again, pretty good song. I did like it. I really did. Abracadabra, Travis Scott hit some really nice vocals. So did Young Thug. I really like this song. Abracadabra, in my opinion, is one of the better songs on the project. Money on the Dresser, Young Thug, absolutely filthy. I loved it. Hellcat Kenny is another pretty good song. Nothing too crazy, but I mean, it's good. Gucci Grocery Bag is kind of like, eh. Global Access is also pretty good. And Sake of My Kids, it's a pretty good song. I use the term pretty good at like kind of loosely, as it's not like a fantastic song. It's not a big banger, but it's cool. It's not bad. But I do think if they had dove into his vault, they probably could have picked better songs. But overall, I do think this version is better than the last version. I think if they would have chose this way of transitioning, more people would have been like, okay, this album's pretty good. Because transition, in my opinion, songs transitioning to each other has a lot to do with an enjoyment of an album. Because if you're going like, let's say this song's really good to a bad song, to another bad song, to a really good song, the way it's transitioned can help a lot with how you enjoy an album. Because if you're sitting through it in one long sitting, it could significantly boost your enjoyment level. So like I said, I'm kind of in the middle with this project. I don't think it's one of his best, but it's not mid. Or it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. It's not a bad album. There's only one or two songs on here that I could point out and be like, that's not good. But like I said, good album. I did give thorough enjoyment. If I had to give it a rating, it'd be like a 6.5 out of 10. But that could grow on me. That could shrink on me. Hopefully it grows on me. But, like I said, though, still free Young Thug. I really hope Young Thug does good in his RICO case and is able to get out. And maybe we hear a little bit more about this Gunna situation. But anyway, by the time you're seeing this video, there's been a bunch of other Fatal K videos that you need to go watch. And there's also been a Young Fatal K album that you need to go watch. Or, well, listen to. On every major streaming platform, including YouTube and Spotify, Apple Music. I'm about to upload it on SoundCloud as we speak on my way to the beach. So let's go ahead and listen to that. Please give me streams and give me money. I'm just kidding. But anyway, you guys enjoy your day.